Hey, this is Rob with Resilience Mojo, and this video is a great example of resilience. Ken Paluto is a bowler. He's an avid bowler. Bowling is his passion. Well, he lost his leg to diabetes and thought he would never bowl again. While he was in the hospital, Hurricane Harvey hit and his entire neighborhood was underwater. He thought he lost his house. And just a few months prior to that, he lost his wife to cancer. And as traumatic as this story is, it's also inspirational. So this story is a great example of persistence, resilience, and the belief in yourself. Are you ready?
So you're gonna
I will introduce you.
You're gonna ask.
Yeah, this is coming. What we just did, that's exactly what we're
okay.
doing. So first, let's do a little cheers. You ready? One, 2, 3.
All right.
All right, I am here with Ken Paluto. Ken Paluto, his story, again, I think I said this on my last video, when I first started doing resilience videos, it was really about business owners. That's what it was about. And they have a resilience story. And then I had a woman reach out to me, 2 women, said, Rob, I have had cancer, 2 different women. Can I tell my story? Yes, because they're both doing great today. Mm-hmm. And then you reach out to me, and Ken's story is incredible. But Ken, before we go into your story, let's talk about what you do for a living a little bit. Obviously, you do insurance.
I've been doing health insurance and life and Medicare and that type of thing since 1996.
Yeah.
And I also have a website where
Yeah.
I teach people to play blackjack. So it's blackjackcan.com, and that's what I enjoy the most. That's my biggest passion. And of course...
Wait, that's your
yeah.
bigger passion than bowling?
Well, I can make more money at blackjack than I can bowling, but I've always been, bowling was my first love. I've been bowling in league since I was 5 years old, and I'll be 67 years old in a few weeks.
Okay. And blackjack, Ken, so that's where you and I met. Paul introduced me to you, and I shot, I forgot how many videos for your...
42.
42 for your online...
Not counting the YouTube ones.
Ah, that's right.
Now there's 20 more of those.
And that was cool. That was the first time I really learned about card counting, which I thought was like a made-up thing. And then, of course, you made it sound so easy. Rob, boom, what's this? Because you've been doing it so long. But what's the name of the site?
Blackjack. It's Blackjack plus my name, K-E-N. Blackjackcan.com.
I'll put it right there. Seriously, check it out. Yeah. If anyone out there loves to play blackjack, number one, even if you don't go to gamble professionally, learn how to play the game. So you can beat your friends. But then if you do like to professionally, or just gamble, increase your odds of winning. Really a great series. Mm-hmm. All right, so Ken, you've been bowling since how old, 5? I
was in a league at 5 years old, and my family bowled, and I would always go, and then I just loved it right away. And I begged to get in the league when I was 5 years old. My mother said, no, wait till next year when you start school. And I didn't see any connection between bowling and school. To me, if you can walk, you can bowl. And she gave in. And to my memory, it's the only argument I ever won with my mother. Because any other thing, if she said no, it was no. And she finally gave in and let me bowl in a league before I was even in school. And then when she passed away, my mom passed away in 2002, and she didn't throw away anything. And we went through her stuff, and I found the score sheet of the first game I ever bowled. I was 3 years old. She had my name and the date on it. And the first game I ever bowled was 8. The whole game was 8.
Oh my God. And you're saying 8, so this man has a few 300s. How many 300 games do you have?
I have 49 sanctioned 300 games.
And what was your highest? Wow. And what was your highest league average?
247. 247.
What's your highest series? For those of you who know bowling, you know these are huge numbers.
857 is my highest series.
857. Yeah. Wow. So, and did you go professional? I remember you were trying
I bowled. I had a PBA card 1980, 81, and 82. So for 3 years in the early 80s.
Wow, okay.
And I was out there long enough to know that I shouldn't be.
Really?
Because there's, like any sport, when you get to the highest level, there's a few people that are good enough, and then there's a whole bunch of people that are almost good enough, and that's where I came in. 1982 was my last year to have a PBA card, and it was the first year that they had computer rankings for bowlers.
Okay.
And I was ranked number 171.
171. How big was the field?
Well, that was my ranking based on all the criteria that they used, and it doesn't sound, and I was disappointed. I said, oh my goodness.
That sounds great. I'm saying, what's the field? Isn't
Because you look at, well, there's a professional field. There was maybe 300 guys out there bowling professionally, but when I looked at the list, and you know, the first thing is I looked at the names above me and I said, I'm better than him and him and him. You know, because that's just what you're going to do with any list.
Yeah, yeah.
You look at any Hall of Fame list, this guy's in and shouldn't be, this guy should be and he's not. And,
right.
So you could do that forever. And then it finally hit me when somebody said, dude, there's 9 million bowlers. You're 171.
Holy cow. So why'd you get out? What do you mean
I wasn't making any money. And the funny story is, I wasn't even going to think of this story, but I was managing bowling centers in Indiana and Illinois.
Okay.
And I was bowling in the leagues, and some of the guys joked with me, and some of the guys actually resented me bowling in their leagues. They thought I was too good. And this one guy came in and said, you're too good to bowl with us. You should be on tour. And I said, yeah, I would love to. I said, it takes money. I said, as soon as you come up with the money, I'll be happy to do it. And it was just a running joke that we had.
Yeah.
Every Saturday night was a running joke. One Saturday night he came in and he said, how much would it cost to put you on the tour? And I said, oh my goodness. You know, I said, I had read that this was 1980 now.
Yeah.
I had read that expenses run about $600 a week to bowl on a tour. So I said, that's 30 grand a year.
Yeah.
And he wrote me a check for 30 grand, and he showed me his lottery ticket. He won the Illinois State Lottery.
Oh my God.
And we had a standing joke for a year. When I win the lottery, when I win the lottery, I'll put you on the tour.
Holy, wait, this is so cool.
Standing joke. He's the only person, I've known people that won large scratch-off prizes. You know, 5,000 a week or 1,000 a week, but he's the only person I knew personally that actually won a lottery. And as lotteries go, it wasn't a huge lottery. You know, not like the Powerball or the Mega Millions. And I don't remember how much it was. All I remember was that he took the 20-year option, and after taxes, he got $365,000 a year for 20 years, because I remember thinking, that's $1,000 a day for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of cool.
So and that's how you got your first
Yes, and that's how and then in my first year, I didn't win any tournaments, but I made some cuts. And I did well enough to justify being there.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't winning big money, but I wasn't embarrassing myself. And so he didn't lose any money either, so he put me back out for the second year because he didn't lose any money. And then the third year I did it on my own, and I didn't do very well, and I had to quit and go back to my job, because that was my fear. You know, I never thought it happened, then once it happened, I said, my goodness, if I give up my job, and then I bomb on the tour, now I don't have anything.
True.
And my employer said that your job will be here if you need it.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't go back to the same job. I got a different job managing bowling centers. So I've managed one center in Illinois and 2 in Indiana, and I moved to Texas in 1992.
92.
Yeah.
All right. So
But I got to get beat by the best bowlers in the world. That's my claim to fame.
There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. All right. So Ken, let's go to. So you had your right below your knee. You've had your right leg removed below your knee because of diabetes.
Yes.
But before that, tell the story about what you thought was good, because you've had diabetes. If you don't mind me asking, how long?
I've been diabetic since the early 2000s, and I'm a Vietnam vet, but I did not want to go to the VA hospital for medical care. I bought a home through the VA, and it was a nightmare, and I said, I'll never deal with the VA ever again. So I paid for health insurance from 1978 till 2004, and I didn't have to.
Wow.
I did that to avoid going to the VA.
Yeah.
And then in 2004, when they put me on insulin, I couldn't afford my insulin even with insurance.
Wow.
because those little vials were $75 copay, and I used 9 a month. That's $700 a month just in insulin copays. So I was forced to go to the VA for health benefits in 2004.
Now wait, was this before when you thought it was going to be your last game?
This was after.
That's what I'm saying. Let's go back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because that story to me is pretty powerful.
Yeah, well, prior to that, I knew my left foot was bad. It was infected. I had blood. I had pus. Anybody could look at it and know it was infected. And my wife, late wife, she was bugging me on a Wednesday night, go to the hospital, go to the hospital. I said, I'm going. I promise I'm going. I said, I'm bowl Thursday morning. I'm going to tell my team and my league that this is my last bowling, and as soon as I get done, I'm going straight to the hospital. I promise. So, I mean, what could she say? She knew how stubborn I was. And I could barely walk. And when I walked, I could hear and feel the gushing in my shoe where it was, you know, I had blood and pus and everything in my shoe. I had no business being there bowling.
That's right.
And but I told everybody, this is it. This is my last time bowling because I'm about to lose my leg. And
so it's your last time. You're thinking it's your last time doing something.
I believe with all my heart it's the last time I'll ever bowl.
Yeah.
And I bowled a 255 and a 231 the first 2 games, which was a miracle in itself because I could barely put one foot ahead of the other. And then my friend and teammate that bowled with me for 20 years, which nobody else ever could put up with me that long. My friend Paul said, you know, I'd give a crispy dollar bill to see you bowl a 300. And I was already emotional thinking that I was going to have to quit. And I know it sounds stupid, but I bowled a 300 that last game. And he pulls this crinkled old dollar bill out of his pocket, and I said, no, you said a crispy new one. So I made him go to the desk and have them fish through to get their newest dollar bill. And I have it in a frame with the score sheet and dated, and my wife's handwriting, Paul's dollar. And, so I've always told Paul, I said, I'll never be broke because I've always got your dollar. And thank goodness, due to that great doctor at Mangum that saved my leg, I was able to come back bowling.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't my last game of bowling, but it was my last 300. I haven't had a sanctioned 300 since then.
Haven't had a sanction, and for those of you who don't know what that means, it means when you're playing a regulation game, I guess you'd say.
That's league or tournament.
League or tournament, where there's
Right.
a record of it, because we can look up your name and see all your...
Yeah, it's...
But you have bowled 300...
In practice.
In practice.
And a 299. I've had 4 290s sanctioned since I've been back. So if it happens, fine. I wanted it because I've had 49, and I just wanted that 50th.
You're going to get it, Ken. You're going to.
Yeah.
So we have to tell that part of the story.
Yeah.
So now, in what 7 years? How many years ago? 5 years ago is when you.
I lost my right leg. Yeah, I was worried about the left leg, and I was getting regular podiatry checkups at the VA on my left leg to make sure it was okay. And the right leg, I hadn't had any problem with it since 2008. And then all of a sudden, the right leg just blew up in June of 2016. It just in a matter of a couple days. I took my shoe and sock off one day, and it didn't even look like blood. It looked like strawberry pudding, just spilled all over the place. And I could tell that the bones had turned to mush, and I knew there was no saving it. So I went to the VA hospital, and they took my right leg in June of 2016. And I asked them what other options I have, and he said, your other option is you die. And I said, well, let me think about it. I'll let you know Monday. So, you know, the stages of grief. First, you're angry.
Yeah.
And then at some point you have to accept it. And people often comment that you have a really good attitude about it. And I said, not that first week I didn't. I said that first week I was mad at the world, and then one day I woke up and I said, it is what it is, get over it, you know.
And how was it 6 months prior to that you lost your wife? If you don't mind, again,
in a 6-month period I lost my wife to liver cancer, I lost my leg to diabetes, and Hurricane Harvey hit my home in August, and I was still in the hospital till September. All of that happened in a 6-month period. So.
And how long were you bowled all your life? Again, your one thing that you love to do, and I met your wife, really, really nice lady.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry about that.
She put up with me, she had to be nice.
That's true. How long did you not bowl? Because first of all, when you had your leg removed, did you think you would bowl again?
Well, it was June of 2016 that I lost my leg, and I came back bowling. Well, if you just call going there and bowling one practice game, standing still, just throwing the ball at the line, if you call that bowling, that was April of 2019. And, you know, I always run my mouth and joke with people, and people don't ever know how to take me, whether I'm joking or whether I'm serious. So people ask me, are you going to bowl again? I say, oh yeah. I said, I'm going to bowl league and I'm going to average 200 again.
This is in the hospital, you're saying this?
Well, and when I got, right after getting out of the hospital, before I ever got back to bowling, I was so weak from non-activity that I was just so weak that I could, you know, I could walk, but I couldn't really do much as far as leaning or bending or putting any weight even on my good leg. And so it was way harder than I thought, and I didn't want to embarrass myself, and I didn't want to admit I couldn't do it. So I was bowling like 100, sometimes even less. And I said, well, this won't be fun. You know, I wouldn't enjoy this. So I bought an exercise bicycle and I rode it for 5 minutes a day, which doesn't sound like much, but at my age and shape I was in, 5 minutes seemed like forever.
Yeah.
And I got my legs strong enough where I could start taking the steps, the approach to bowling.
Wait a minute, well, we're going to have to stop here. We're going to go to part 2. I hope you don't mind. We have to go to part 2, and we're going to continue this. Real quick, what was your average before you lost your leg?
My last year, the season that just ended in May of 2016, I averaged 220, and I was frustrated with that because it was down from, I averaged 230 plus for many, many years. And so I was already in the decline since I was having trouble with my feet and legs.
Yeah, but again, you say, and it is decline, but 220 is freaking great.
Yeah, everybody tells me, it's just, I blame my mom for my attitude because I was brought up having it pounded into me that whatever you do, do it as well as you can or you're cheating yourself.
Oh, I like that.
And so, and it's not just bowling. If it's a job or if it's in school or if it's a sport or a relation, I put everything into it. So the things that I care about, I care too much sometimes.